1920s, America. Prohibition turned the streets into a battlefield. Capone painted the headlines with blood and bullets. Luciano carved out power through betrayal and brute force. Siegel died the way he lived, loud, reckless, and exposed. But in the shadows, a man without a throne, without an army, moved like smoke between the cracks. Meyer Lansky. No empire to rule, no crown to wear. Yet when the dust settled, Capone was in chains. Luciano was exiled. Siegel was a corpse. And Lansky, still standing, still whispering orders from behind the curtain, still winning, because while the others clung to force, he mastered something far more lethal: adaptation, the quiet art of bending when the world breaks. These are the stories that aren't told in classrooms, so like the video, share your thoughts, subscribe to learn more. 1911. A 9-year-old boy named Meyer Lansky stepped off a boat at Ellis Island. His family fled Belarus with nothing but the clothes on their backs. No money, no safety, just survival. They landed in the Lower East Side, a place where poverty bred predators. Most kids had two options: stay poor or get violent. Lansky found a third. He got smart. While other boys threw punches, Lansky studied patterns. Where they saw chaos, he saw structure. He could calculate odds faster than most men could draw a gun. Bugsy Siegel, his childhood friend, wanted to fight, rob, and intimidate. Lansky, he wanted to organize, to build, to win without being seen. He didn't crave power through violence. He wanted leverage through systems. This wasn't weakness, it was design. When Prohibition flooded the streets with opportunity, every gangster fought for turf. Lansky built machines, bootlegging routes, numbers rackets, silent networks. Capone made front-page news with gunfire. Lansky made fortunes behind the curtain, and here's where the gap between them widened. While other gangsters clung to their bloodlines and pride, Lansky partnered across the divide. Italian, Irish, Jewish. He didn't care. If you could earn and keep your mouth shut, you had a seat at the table. That's how Lucky Luciano became his closest ally, not because of friendship, but because Lansky saw the future and placed himself beside it. The Cuba play, 1950s. While law enforcement crushed syndicates at home, Lansky looked outward to a place where American laws couldn't reach, but American money could. Havana. He helped turn Cuba into the Caribbean's Las Vegas. Casinos, hotels, high society, all flowing through his unseen empire. But power built on stability is a trap, and Lansky didn't make that mistake. As Castro's revolution gained momentum, most gangsters laughed it off. They toasted champagne in towers, soon to fall. Lansky, he was already gone. Not physically, financially. Quietly shifting funds, insulating assets, preparing for the inevitable. When the revolution came, others were wiped out overnight. Lansky didn't flinch. He'd already moved on. The ghost strategy. Capone wanted to be a king. Lansky wanted to disappear. While Capone strutted in custom suits with gold in his teeth, Lansky dressed like a bookkeeper, because that's what he was. The mob's accountant, no records in his name, no witnesses willing to talk. Money moved through layers, shell companies, offshore accounts, front businesses. He did in the 1930s what corporations would mimic decades later. By the time the FBI came for him in the 70s, they found nothing. No smoking gun, no ledgers, no trail to follow. He'd spent half a century moving through the underworld like a whisper no one could catch. By the way, if you're getting value from this lesson, I go even deeper into adaptability and other forgotten codes worth living by in my book, Battle-Tested Wisdom. Links below. Read it when you're ready. Here's what Lansky understood that the others never did. The world doesn't care about your ego. It doesn't care how feared you are. It doesn't care what name you've built. The world rewards one thing: your ability to move when it moves. Capone thought his reputation would shield him. Luciano thought power made him untouchable. Siegel thought connections would keep him safe. They were all wrong. Power isn't holding your ground. It's knowing when to shift before the ground disappears beneath you. When Prohibition ended, Lansky didn't flinch. He pivoted to gambling. When America cracked down, he went offshore. When Castro rose, he pulled out before the fires lit the sky. He didn't fight chaos. He flowed with it. While others played checkers, loud, desperate, short-sighted, Lansky played chess. Quiet, calculated, 3 moves deep. And that's the real code. In a world built to box you in, rigid systems, fixed roles, silent rules, adaptability becomes rebellion. What this means for you. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room. You don't need brute strength, bloodline, or status. You need one thing: the instinct to move before the trap closes. In your work, don't fall in love with your job title. Markets crash, industries vanish, algorithms shift. The only ones who last are the ones who move before they're forced to. In your relationships, people evolve, roles change. Cling to the old way, and you'll lose what matters most. In your growth, what brought you here won't take you further. Adapt or dissolve. Lansky didn't outlast the legends because he was louder. He did it because he moved like a ghost through a burning city. Never where they expected, never where they aimed. If you feel powerless, start by learning to adapt, because adaptability isn't just survival, it's power. You've just seen how one man rewrote the rules without ever being seen. Not through force, but through foresight. Not through control, but through adaptation. Now ask yourself, where are you still standing still, hoping the world will wait for you? It won't. It never has, but you don't have to face it blind. There's more. Moves they buried, strategies they never taught, codes written in history and hidden from the surface world. If you want them, file number 001 is where it begins. A sealed document, once hidden, now unlocked, containing the power plays they never wanted you to learn. Download it, study it, and if it speaks to you, you'll know what to do next. Link below.